All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying the 1.5 days of conversation, and I'm glad to be presenting at CMS Asia. My topic today is really elevating some of the content marketing essentials broken down into conversations, connections, and context. Most often than not, we all know it's about storytelling, but I think I picked this funny little note here. It ends up boiling down to a product at a discount because of all the business pressures. But coming back to the topic, we've heard over the last 1.5 days that content marketing is on the rise. Most of us are seamlessly transitioning between, online and offline spaces. A lot of us are texting our family during dinner. We're uploading photographs on a family trip. We're listening to podcasts, Instagramming our meals, and doing our email on daily commute. So offline and online spaces are merging. With the rise of mobile, the Internet of Things, content today is getting integrated into the physical world like never before. What makes it exciting and interesting, though, is 90% of this data has exploded in the last 2 years. 80% of it is unstructured. People globally share billions of pieces of content. And closer back home, India is one of the fastest data-consuming countries in the world, with over 5 hours of screen time. If you take a moment to just digest these numbers, it points to one incredible thing. It's really an exciting time to be a content marketer. The common refrain in the room potentially could be, yes, with so much of content, real-life experiences are getting fragmented, attention spans are reducing. And I think that's a conversation for another day. But with the two-way information exchange today, I think conversations are getting richer. Human exchanges are getting richer. And I do believe that these virtual conversations are really about human need for context and connectedness. Today, consumers are rewriting and writing their stories of what they truly stand for and what they believe in. And as brands, it's incumbent on us to drive value back to these consumers through their daily experiences. I think in the past, potentially the conventional and dominant form of marketing used to be helping sellers sell. And today, it's incumbent on us marketers to flip it on its head and talk about helping buyers buy rather than helping sellers sell. Simply put, to me, content marketing really is the attention, is the leap between attention and motivation. I think great advertising, we saw some excellent examples here today, kind of, tweaks your curiosity. It whets your appetite. It gives you a signal to do more. But content is when, great content marketing is when, we are able to move curiosity into interest, and in some cases, boredom. And I think that content marketing is what is the motivation that helps you drive forging and lasting conversations with your customers. Today, I'm going to break down content marketing essentials into 3. Really empathetic conversations, meaningful connections, and relevant context. Arguably, someone could say that all of these 3 are interconnected and they intermingle, and that's a fact. You can't have meaningful conversations without empathy. You can't drive great connections without context. But just for the simplicity of this topic, I've broken it down into 3 areas. I'm going to start through various examples, not necessarily from Intel, across the globe that I found really interesting. I'm going to start with, conversations. I think today, most customers, consumers, they want transparency. They want responsiveness in the way we speak to them. We need to be able to foster conversations where we're accessible and customers and consumers can talk to us, whether it's good or bad. I read a very interesting quote from an online author, and this is what he said. Most marketers believe that they're welcome to conversations just because they host it or jump into a conversation. But the reality is very different. We're not welcome at all, Sorry. Markets are conversations, but all conversations are not marketing opportunities. As information flow has become two-way today, conversations are about relationships. And relationships are about two things: negotiation and really reciprocity, right? If we're discussing something, we have to be in a place where the conversation is a two-way street. Today, conversations in content marketing is purely a social contract. While this example plays on the screen, I want to talk about the first of my examples and what I thought was really impactful content marketing piece. With a country of about 300 million plus smartphones, I think we can borrow a lot of learnings from across the world on mobile marketing. I picked this example from across the world because San Francisco Museum of Modern Art has about 34,000 pieces of art. Any of us walking through SF MoMA couldn't even, get to 10% of the pieces of art. What I love about this example of content marketing is the simplicity of the UI. I mean, it must have taken a lot of effort to build 34 pieces of content in the back end. But what it does for the consumer is that it presents an opportunity to interact and experience the number of pieces of art through a simple SMS mechanism. Now, what the consumer does here is just they set up an SMS code, and the consumer sends "send me," and the "send me" can be a color, can be an emoji, can be a text, and SF MoMA would actually send them a piece of an art from a well-known artist, and it appealed to their mood, and it allowed you also, to further new ways of thinking and seeing. And the second piece that we must keep in mind when we do content marketing is just presenting opportunities for further exploration, further curiosity. And this one works well simply because there's a sensory reward in the experience. Beautiful example of mobile marketing. The next example that I want to talk about really is search marketing. For most people, search marketing is intent marketing, right? You believe that if he's searched, he's ready to buy, and then most marketers would jump into driving a conversation-related piece of content. But what I love about the second example is a clever piece of marketing from IKEA. What they did was they actually looked at studied searches. And they looked at what kind of searches are related to daily common life problems. And I'll leave you to watch this video, and then we'll talk about it.
IKEA's products have always been inspired by how people live in the real world. Most of us turn to the internet for answers when problems arise. To prove that IKEA can be a part of the solution, we created what we like to call retail therapy. We simply renamed IKEA's products as common Google searches about relationship problems in Sweden. When you Googled your problem, you found an IKEA product with the exact same name, a product that might help you improve your relationship at home. The results were overwhelming. SEO might be as boring as it gets, but this campaign was something else. Something that won the hearts of both new and old IKEA customers all over the world. Thanks for Googling.
It's an interesting example, don't you think? It's clever, it's amazing, it builds on search marketing, but the two insights that I take out of it is that it's built a connection, with the product. And the very basis of content marketing, it really latches on to a daily human life experience or a problem. Most people in this room, we've got content marketers, content strategists, community managers, and I believe sometimes we don't realize how hard community management is. It's hard work. I think that driving a community, being responsive, being agile, being transparent are great ways to extend customer service and drive brand evangelism. I want to pick up an example that I thought here again was relevant. Nike has a Twitter account dedicated solely to customer service. And if you look at the way they respond, they're funny, they're thoughtful, and they're there. And you really know when a brand cares for its customer. On the topic of community management, there's been this whole resurgence, I would say, of chatbot marketing, right? And I think, again, there are two ways to look at it. People feel like with chatbots, we're replacing human intervention. I believe that technology only improves conversations at two counts. Most consumers, when they're asking you to help you solve a problem, want it solved then. They don't want a solution of their problems when you choose to respond. They want an immediate response, whether it's the weekend or the night. And I do believe, though it seems counterintuitive, chatbots are a solution to driving great conversations today. I would like to also take a moment to talk about one of our own community management forums, which is Intel and Me. India has got about 4 million, a community of 4 million across Facebook and Twitter. But what I do want to talk about is Intel and Me, which is a platform for our superfans. Now, this community has been at large for 2 years, and like I said, it's hard work. What we do with our brand advocates is we give them access to what's happening across technology. We don't talk about Intel and its products, but we talk about what really connects to them. What is their passion, and how can we talk to them about it? So we give them topics around gaming, about Internet of Things, new technology experiences. We also drive a lot of preview opportunities to the best gaming forums, for instance, Intel Extreme Masters with this community. So I thought that these three summed up for me, amongst many examples, how can we drive conversations? And one was, like I said, interesting ways to use mobile marketing and SMS. Second would be, like I said, search marketing, which tends to boil down to intent marketing. And third, just hardworking community management. The second piece of content marketing really is connections, right? I love this quote, again, from an online author. Connections are not about an algorithm, but an insight. It's not about contact, but a true connection. So I do believe today we need to drive stronger connections with our consumers. And it is finally about standing for what the brand appeals, what's the promise. Great connections happen when the brand affirms or challenges or educates certain beliefs of the consumer. I will play one more example, and then we'll talk about this.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
I'm ATM. I'm an automated thanking machine.
Hey, look at that, buddy.
That's for you. That's on TD Canada Trust. Yeah, you've been helping your daughter out, is that correct?
Yes, she has cancer and she had an operation on Tuesday.
We want you to thank her yourself, so we've got something coming out of the slot right now. Those are tickets to Trinidad.
Are you serious?
I am serious. You're going to go see your daughter in Trinidad.
Amazing, right? I thought this was such a lovely way to connect with your customers. I think for me, yes, customer service in banking is really important. It's one way to drive connections, but what this bank has done is it's picked their real estate, right? And their real estates are ATMs, and they changed ATMs to automated thanking machines. Yes, a lot of us feel special when you're given a gift or you're singled out, for a certain customization. But really what I like about this example is using your own real estate, driving experiential marketing to surprise your customer, but more importantly, just knowing your customer. This video, if you Google it, is about a 2-minute long video. It spans various issues the customers face, and sometimes not just issues, just, feeling acknowledged has some of the examples. So it's beautiful personalization and really knowing your customer. That I thought we tend to forget, in the mad rush of driving content marketing or being, in a sense, reactive rather than responsive most times. And I think the other pieces of connections are, I think, what most community management or content marketers drive. Some of the best forms of connections with our consumers are to drive interest-based marketing, right? Brands like GoPro, Apple, brands like us, Intel, Nike, they all drive interest-based communities simply because when you're encouraging shared experiences, lived experiences, you're giving the opportunity of people to talk about what they truly believe in and what they stand for, and you can interject yourself in what they stand for, makes for great connections. This example really is about GoPro, And what I love about this, and as marketers, we must remember that the spotlight is not on the product. The spotlight has to be on how you make the people the hero. And this example is, I thought, really nice. GoPro has, the picture of the week. It has great conversation on their sites. Apple did this quite well. They're coming into, driving visual content and what consumers deliver also as a way of marketing. And like I said, it relates and shares your own lived experiences. I won't play the Apple example. I think a lot of people have seen it, but what I liked about the Apple example is the fact that it's their visual content, and secondly, they gave attribution back to the person who created each piece of that content, right? And so the sharing increased on their communities. I'll just skip this. The other piece, like I said, is yes, real consumers, real ways of them looking at your product is the best testimony of how they're interacting with you and connecting with you. This example is an Intel example, and for Intel, we do believe that connections, like I said, is about authentic conversations and talking about real examples of real people. This is an example that of a series of people where we spotlighted their accomplishments, their dreams through various examples. We have about 4 examples here. I won't play all 4, but it talked about a child coder in Dharavi that used the PC to accomplish her dream of being an educator. Chanderi, where they use PCs to bring age-old craft to more people through technology. And then an architect, a boy with poor schooling who actually went on to become an architect during the Gujarat, despite the Gujarat earthquakes. So I'll leave you with a quick video.
खुशियाँ कुछ साल पहले तक हमारी जिंदगी से कोसों दूर थी। हमारी कमाई का मोटा हिस्सा बिचौलिए ले जा रहे थे। ऐसे में हम इस परंपरा को बचाते या नया रोजगार ढूंढते? इस सवाल का जवाब था कंप्यूटर। कंप्यूटर ने हमारी 700 साल पुरानी कला को दुनिया भर के लोगों से जोड़ दिया। खुशियाँ अब दूर नहीं, यहीं रहती हैं, चंदेरी के पास।
I think when you're looking at content marketing, like I said, good advertising will whet your curiosity. And after that, to drive the motivation, you've got to do more. So after a series of these stories, we actually created opportunity for user-generated content through media partnerships. And this is a continuous effort that we try to continue to do to drive people and bring in their accomplishments. I now will move to my third section, which is context. I think there was a question in the audience of how can you be more contextual? How can you know which kind of examples work well? So to me, contextual marketing today has amazing amount of opportunity. We know more about people today than ever before. Data and analytics have given us this amazing opportunity to be relevant to different clusters of people. So yes, one part of contextual marketing is real-time reflex, right? There's an opportunity and you jump in it, you're contextual, but they of course further the conversation of your brand for that point in time. But over time, contextual marketing, the first step of it is really to listen, right? I will talk quickly about one example which was about real-time marketing, but then I do want to take some time to talk about what we believe can make for really good contextual marketing over time if you want to drive incredible engagement for your brand.
We created the Oreo Eclipse by using real-time astronomical data to replicate the exact timings and trajectory of the sun and moon. To ensure that the UK was talking about our eclipse long after Mother Nature had finished, we captured each site on time-lapse video and distributed them as 10-second films on social media within an hour of the eclipse's completion. In addition, we also created a translucent cover wrap to literally eclipse the sun. On March the 20th, Oreo Eclipse was seen by more than 20 million people, and year-on-year sales following the Oreo Eclipse rose 59%, making March 2000...
Yeah, so you get the idea of where it went. I think a lot of brands do this interestingly. KitKat did this really nicely in Philippines recently when Facebook went down, and so they went on their Twitter handle and said, I think Facebook's taking a break. Very interestingly done. I do believe Amul does this quite well across brands, despite them using more offline mediums. We've done this, I think, quite interestingly and opportunistically on the back of our 8-gen processors, where we used the Eclipse and, highlighted the launch for 8-gen. But really, when we do talk about context, and this is going to be the crux of content marketing going forward, is that to be relevant and to be responsive takes two things. Of course, data and analytics. Of course, a great amount of media. I do believe an amalgamation of media, experience officers, and data scientists is really important to drive contextual marketing. Yes, you can do stuff which is point in time, but over time, you've got to look at patterns and then market across those patterns. So at Intel, at Singapore, we have the APJ Digital Hub. Now, the Digital Hub actually does two, three things, right? We look inside, of course. We want to know what the consumer is doing on our web platforms, on our social platforms. From the web to social platforms, what is their journey into external platforms, whether it be e-tail or retail, et cetera. And we try and optimize and customize experiences on that, yes. But what the Digital Hub does is also that it looks outside. It looks at what are the conversations, what are the articles, what are the trends. We look at sentiment analysis. And then see, how are we relevant to that conversation, and then, use those examples to have ongoing conversations and relationships with those specific topics. And like I said, the first part of most contextual marketing is to listen. Listen to what's happening. After you listen, you curate what is relevant. You look at drawing insights. But most importantly, a lot of us have insights, but we need to drive to action and then see whether the action really worked and measured. This is something that we do not only at an APJ level, but at a worldwide level. And like I said, we create a lot of customized experiences, whether it's, increasing or driving amazing sports experiences, as you can see on the left, or wonderfully drone experiences timed to, say, the launch of Wonder Woman, or more recently, with Intel being at Winter Olympics, where we're doing a full experience from VR all the way to drones. This really, for us at Intel, is the crux of great content marketing, right? It's not what we make, but eventually it is what we make possible for our consumers. Really, in summary, before I end, these are the 4 or 5 takeouts for me as a content marketer. We have to turn our marketing on its head and help buyers buy. We have to be able to drive to lived and shared experiences, and that's how people are going to drive more curiosity, foster new ways of thinking and seeing. We must try and delight with, unexpected perspectives and twists. Simplicity of technology is a must, and the more you can simplify the experience, the more it's going to drive better recall. And memorable connections based on daily human insights. Before I end, I do want to leave you with one quick ad that sums it up. Today, I think storytelling is key to customer experience. Customer engagement, and customers are truly looking for what brands can offer, and that's what we've got to live up to. Storytelling, for me, breaks up into 4 parts. One is, empathy. Second is connection. Third is clearly a great outcome. And fourth, as a technology brand, to improve lives. We, as brands, have a great opportunity to look at, short-term engagement or decide whether we want to drive lasting impact. I'll leave you with this ad, and thank you for your time. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session.